Hello everyone, how is it going today? It is Tyler here with Zone in Sports, and in today's video, we will be going over the college football Week 9 slate. We'll be going over some of the key matchups and, giving out our picks. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get right into it. I did not have any picks for the Thursday night or Friday night games. Just didn't have very good reads on them, and I just haven't had much luck on, the weekday games in the previous weeks, so I just decided to, leave those alone, and we'll just dive in on Saturday. Nice slate, man. There's definitely some solid games, some solid lines that I like a lot here. And as I go through these, I'm not going to spend too much time on them, because at this point in the season, it's Week 9. We pretty much know the trends. We pretty much know the stats. We pretty much just have it all in our mind. We know what's going on. Now, does that mean that our picks are just gonna work out great? No, that's why we play the games, right? Anything can happen, but basically, just I'm not gonna go over a whole lot. I'll more so just go over like my general thoughts of some of these, and we'll just run through them, man. So that way, we can get the picks. That's what you're here for. And, if any questions, any more details that you want on any of the games that I go over, just ask below and I'll be sure to share more. But we'll go ahead and run through these, man, starting with the noon slate. Got a nice pick here. We're going to be on Toledo minus 6.5 at minus 112 at Eastern Michigan. The over-under on that game is 54.5. Now, we're on Toledo a lot. If you've followed along with us, we have taken Toledo pretty much all year. I took them all last year as well. And we're going to continue to do that. Only favored by a touchdown here, basically, against Eastern. I'm kind of surprised. Maybe it's because it's at Eastern, but either way, Eastern's defense has looked pretty bad against some teams that have nowhere near the offensive talent that Toledo does. So I think Toledo will go up to Ypsi this Saturday at noon and beat them pretty easily. So Toledo minus 6.5 is a straight pick there. Another noon kickoff, one of the biggest games of the weekend. We got number 2 Ohio State laying 14.5 at number 13 Penn State. Over-under on this game is 60.5. Now I decided that I am not going to take a pick on this game. I think Ohio State wins, man, but I just don't want to lay 14.5. Didn't even want to buy it to 13.5 because Penn State usually plays Ohio State pretty tough, especially when they're at home, so I don't know. I'd rather just watch and enjoy this one and, see what these teams do with each other there. But, yeah, I'm not going to have a straight pick on this one. I think Ohio State definitely wins. Yeah, they'll be able to score some points. I was considering taking the over on this game, but I just couldn't do it because, Penn State's defense might show up at home, man. You never know. They got a solid unit, man. So if they can, maybe force Stroud to throw a pick or two, then maybe they have a chance, but either way, man, I'm just going to watch this one. Big Ten matchup there. Another noon kickoff here. We got Arkansas laying 3.5 at Auburn. Over-under on this game is 62.5. Now, I definitely think Arkansas is a way better team than Auburn, so I'm not worried about them being on the road here. Our straight pick will be Arkansas minus 2.5 on the alternate line. That's right, we're going to buy that point there just in case they only win by a field goal, even though I think that they win this very easily. But yeah, we're going to buy down to minus 2.5, minus 142 there on FanDuel for the alternate line. Now, for parlays and stuff, definitely we'll just run the Arkansas money line there. Just didn't want to give out a minus 160. Sometimes I will, but I feel confident with Arkansas being able to cover a few points there. So Arkansas minus 2.5 over Auburn there. Number 7 TCU laying 7.5 at West Virginia. Nice little Big 12 matchup there. TCU trying to see if they can continue their undefeated run here. And I think they will definitely continue that. Now, playing at West Virginia sometimes can be tough, but I just don't think that they will be able to keep up with TCU's offense. And TCU, they're going to be able to run it, throw it, whatever they want to do. I think they're going to be able to get the job done, man. Their offense just continues to look good. Even against Kansas State last week, where a lot of people were worried that, they're finally playing a good defense. And, well, it was a slow start, but they figured it out. That offense is very good, man. I definitely, I'm on TCU here, but we're going to go alternate line again. TCU minus 6.5 at minus 146 there. Another Big 12 matchup, we got Oklahoma laying 1.5 at Iowa State. Over-under on this game is 55.5. Now, I think Oklahoma should be able to win this game. I like how they bounced back last week and scored all them points against Kansas. They still gave up a lot of points, but I think Kansas's offense is definitely much better than Iowa State's, that is for sure. So I think Oklahoma will go on the road here and get the victory. We're going to go ahead and take a straight pick of Oklahoma money line, minus 120. Definitely just take money line. You don't want to lay 1.5 and watch them win by 1 on something fluky or something. So just take money line, minus 120 there for Oklahoma. Next up, we got Notre Dame getting 2.5 points at number 16 Syracuse. Over-under on that game is 47.5. Remember, Syracuse almost just knocked off Clemson last week in a very tough matchup, and they blew it in the end. Offense couldn't do anything in the second half, so that was a tough loss for them, but they still covered. And if you follow along with us, you know we always take Syracuse. Took them all last year, taking them all this year, and we're going to continue to do so. So we're actually going to have 2 picks here on this game. We're going to go ahead and just take Syracuse money line, man. Minus 137 is solid value there. I still do like them to cover that minus 2.5, but if you can get money line at minus 137, you might as well just take that. And then we're also going to be on the under for this game, going under 47.5. That's minus 106. So we'll go over a couple stats for this one. Syracuse's defense, is very, very good. 13th in the country in total yards allowed per game, where Notre Dame's offense is 77th in the country, only with 386 yards a game. And they're 100th in passing offense, where Syracuse's defense is 10th against the pass. And they're also 37th against the run, where Notre Dame's a little better there, rushing at 47th in the country. Either way, Syracuse defense still has the edge. Points scored, only 26 a game for Notre Dame. That's 83rd in the country, where Syracuse only allows 15 a game. That's 6th best in the nation, man. And they have forced 7 turnovers this year, where Notre Dame's offense has 5 turnovers, which is not terrible, but not super great by any means. But either way, Syracuse with 7 takeaways on the year. They just have very good numbers here, man. I think their defense, especially at home, man, will definitely stand tall and win this game. Looking at the other side, Syracuse's offense, is not super good. It is just it's average. They do what they got to do to win games. They're not really asked to really do a whole lot with how good their defense is, but they are 36th in points scored a game. So their yardages are pretty low, but 36th in the country in points scored a game, 34 points a game, man. That's pretty solid. And Notre Dame's defense is pretty decent, man. They're not great, though. 59th against the run, where Syracuse's offense has the 45th best rushing attack in the country. So maybe they, can run the ball well enough. Their offensive line is definitely going to have to play better this week than they did last week, because in that second half, man, their quarterback, Schrader, he was just running wild, man. So if their O-line can step up, I think they'll be able to move the ball enough to be able to get a nice little comfortable victory. They've only turned it over 3 times this year offensively, Syracuse, that is. So definitely like them to control this game, control the clock, run the ball pretty well, and score enough points, and defense holds them off to, probably win a low-scoring game, like 20-10 type deal. So, yeah, that'll be a reminder. The 2 picks on this game is Syracuse money line, minus 137, and then the under of 47.5 at minus 106. Moving on to the 3 o'clock slate. We got Old Dominion, plus 3.5 at minus 115 at Georgia State. Over-under on the game is 54.5. And, yeah, we're going to have a straight pick here. Old Dominion plus 3.5. I definitely think they probably win this game at Georgia State. I'm not worried about them being on the road. They're definitely the better team here. So, yeah, Old Dominion plus 3.5. I'll also probably consider taking them as an underdog moneyline sprinkle at plus 146 as well there. But, yeah, officially the straight play on that one is going to be Old Dominion plus 3.5. The 3:30 kickoffs. Tulsa at home will be getting 2.5 points as they host SMU. And the over-under on that game is 64.5. And we're going to be on the dog here as well. Tulsa at home getting 2.5, minus 114 is going to be our straight pick there. I just think that they beat them last year too at SMU, and I think that SMU took a step back this year, where Tulsa probably took a little step forward. And I just think that their offense will do well enough in this game to get the victory. Both teams are 3-4 on the year. Neither team is doing well at covering. They each have only covered 2 of their games this year, so something's got to give. Someone's got to cover this one, man. So we're going to hope it's Tulsa, man. And, yeah, I definitely think they can win the game. The money line's only plus 108, though, so might as well just take the 2.5 points that they're giving you there. So looking at the stats, Tulsa's defense does give up a lot of points, but the main thing that stood out to me here is that SMU doesn't really run the ball, 95th in the country offensively, 130 yards a game, where Tulsa's defense gives up 218 rush yards a game. That's 127th in the country, very, very bad, bottom of the barrel. But if SMU, they're an air raid team, man. If you've ever watched SMU over the years, they like to air it out. As you can see here, they are 8th in the country in passing yards, but the bright spot of Tulsa's defense is they are 7th in passing yards allowed a game, only 164 yards a game through the air. So if SMU can't run the ball at all, and they have to rely on they have a good passing attack, so I think Tulsa's defense against the pass should be good enough to be able to hold off SMU enough. Now, SMU is definitely going to be able to score points here, but I think offensively Tulsa will be able to get the job done, as on the other side there, they are 18th offensively with 300 pass yards a game, going against SMU's 57th ranked pass defense, which is not terrible by any means. It's, average in the country, allowing 220 yards a game. So I think Tulsa will be able to keep up with them here. It should be a solid game. SMU, man, 108th in the country, allowing 427 yards a game, where Tulsa's offense is 36th in the country, getting 440 yards a game. So definitely think Tulsa's offense goes off. As long as Tulsa's pass defense shows up like it has all year, I think we'll be all right, man. But, either way, Tulsa plus 2.5 is the straight pick on that one. I will mention another game here at 3:30 that I don't have a pick on, but should be a good matchup. Number 20 Cincinnati getting 1.5 points at UCF. I definitely think Cincy's the better team here, but on the road, man, it's a tough one, and they've had some close games with some bad teams this year, so who knows what happens against a team that's actually pretty solid. UCF, man, they play pretty well at home, so I'm staying away from this one, but should be a good matchup to watch there in the American Athletic Conference. Big matchup here as we go to the Big 12 for a top 25 matchup. You got number 9 Oklahoma State getting 1.5 points at number 22 Kansas State. Over-under on this game is 55.5. So our straight pick on this one is going to be Oklahoma State plus 1.5. I definitely think they win this game, but if you're going to give me a 1.5, might as well take it, man. Minus 110. Money line is plus 106, so it's a little bit change of value there, but not enough to where I don't take this 1.5, man. Might as well just do it, man. Even though I think they're going to win, I'll take that 1.5. Oklahoma State, man, they've been good for us. I took them a lot this year, took them a lot last year. It's just one of those teams, man, that we always like to be on, even on the road here. I just think that their offense is too good, man. I know Kansas State's defense is one of the better ones in the Big 12, but you've seen TCU get the job done against them last week, so I think Oklahoma State will be able to do more of the same looking at the stats. Kansas State, they do only allow 19 points a game with 22. That's 22nd in the country. But yardage-wise, they're around average, around the 70 mark in the country, whether it's against the pass or the run. So Oklahoma State, 13th in the country passing offense, 313 yards a game, 24th overall for total yardage with 467 yards a game, going against Kansas State, 67th overall defense, giving up 376 yards a game. So I definitely think that Oklahoma State's offense is just too good here, man. 4th in scoring with 45 points a game, man. So I'm not expecting them to score 45, but I definitely expect them to, get up 35, 38, somewhere around there. And I just don't think Kansas State's offense will be able to keep up with that. And they do have some injury injuries looming over there at Kansas State. So that's why I'm kind of surprised that they're favored right now with all the key injuries, because you got Adrian Martinez went out last week, and he is questionable. And then Will Howard, the one that came in for Martinez, is also questionable. So, I mean, either way, if they both play, if everyone plays, I still like Oklahoma State, man. But also Deuce Vaughn is on the injury report, but it says he's probable, which means he's probably going to play. So I wouldn't be too worried about Vaughn there. That's their star running back, the very short guy there, but he is a beast. But yeah, so Martinez, Howard, look out for that news. See who ends up starting on Saturday. Either way, we're going to be on Oklahoma State plus the 1.5. And the one thing that could worry me in this one is that Kansas State does run the ball very well offensively, 11th in the country with 232 yards a game, where Oklahoma State is 69th in the country, allowing 146 a game on the ground. So, I mean, that is honestly actually not that terrible. That's their strong suit of their defense, actually. It's around, middle of the pack of the country, but they are very bad against the pass. But the good thing is Kansas State, 118th in passing offense with only 170 pass yards a game. So definitely think that won't hurt them too much there. Kansas State will definitely be able to move the ball, I think, for sure. But at the end of the day, they're just not going to be able to keep up with Oklahoma State, man. They're just going to score too many points. I think they probably win like 38-28, something like that. So, yeah, Oklahoma State, plus 1.5, minus 110 is our official straight pick on that one. And another 3:30 kickoff, we got Wake Forest laying 3.5 at Louisville. Over-under on this game is 62.5. And we are going to be on Wake Forest minus 3.5 as a straight pick. If you follow along here, just like Oklahoma State and a couple of the other teams we've taken so far in this video, Wake Forest is another team that I like a lot these last couple of years. I'm a big Sam Hartman fan. Definitely think he's a very solid QB. Definitely think that they win this game here. Even though they're on the road, they're just the better team, that's for sure. Louisville, they've been struggling, had some ups and downs so far this year. It is a team that I do like, but definitely think Wake Forest is able to get the job done. They definitely win by at least a touchdown, but I think it's probably a couple-score game here, so I'd like them to cover that 3.5. As you know, normally I would buy that down to 2.5, but not worried about it here with Wake Forest. We'll be on them minus 3.5. Definitely think they will be able to pass the ball well. 19th ranked passing offense in the country, going against Louisville's 52nd ranked pass defense. So definitely think they're going to be able to air it out. Sam Hartman's going to get the job done. 10th ranked scoring offense. Louisville's defense actually 25th in points allowed, only 20 a game. But, I mean, the teams they're playing don't have the same sort of offense Wake does. So I think Wake will be able to light up the scoreboard here, and they do not turn it over, only 2 on the year. Where Louisville's defense does have 10 takeaways, which is absolutely insane. So who knows, maybe they can force one and screw us here, but I think Hartman will take care of the ball well with the rest of that Wake offense, and they'll be able to score plenty of points. On the other side, defensively, Wake is not great, but not terrible. Not very good against the pass, but luckily Louisville is only 86th in the country with 223 pass yards a game, where they run the ball much better, 34th in the country with 195 yards a game, but Wake's rush defense is a little bit better there, 58th, so not great, but slightly better than the average in the country. 137 yards a game there. So, yeah, I just think that Wake's offense is too good in this matchup. And Louisville, they're going to have to throw the ball if they want to win. And I don't know how effectively they'll be able to do that. So, yeah, we're going to be on Wake Forest, man, minus 3.5. Like them to cover here. Northwestern and Iowa. Northwestern's getting 10.5 as they go to Iowa there. And the over-under on that game is 37.5. Nothing much to say here, but our straight pick will be Northwestern and Iowa, under 37.5. We are back on them Iowa unders. Let's go, man. Another Big Ten matchup here. We got number 17, Illinois, laying 7.5 as they travel to Nebraska. Over-under on that game is 50.5. And we're going to go ahead and have a straight pick here of Illinois minus 6.5 on the alternate line. That's minus 134, so still solid value there. Buying that point, minus 6.5 there for Illinois. Again, not worried about them being on the road here. Got a lot of teams on the road this week, man. But, hey, the last time we did that, it went well. So we'll see how it goes this week. But definitely think, Illinois is definitely a much better team than Nebraska. They've been very good on the defensive side this year. And their offense hasn't been super great by any means, but they run the ball very, very well. And who's it? Chase Brown, I believe, leads the league in rushing. Leads the country, I should say, not the league. I mean, technically it's the league, but you know what I'm saying. He's the highest leading rusher in the nation. But yeah, I think Illinois will be able to move the ball well, effectively with that ground attack, and Tommy DeVito will make the throws when needed, and they'll be able to go ahead and cover that -6.5 at Nebraska. I just don't see Nebraska being able to score too much. Their offense has looked all right at times this year, but for the most part has struggled against some teams that definitely don't have the same caliber defense as Illinois. So definitely like Illinois, -6.5 there, -134 on the alternate line. And then at a 4 o'clock kickoff, you see South Carolina enter the top 25 rankings this week, and they are laying 3.5 as they host Missouri. Over-under on that game is 45.5. Now, I definitely am going to be on South Carolina here, mostly just because they're at home. If they were on the road, I'd probably stay away from this game. Classic, teams love to enter the top 25 and lose the first week that they're in there. And South Carolina, man, they've had some ups and downs the last few years. Nice to see them back up there with Spencer Rattler, the transfer from Oklahoma. But yeah, we're going to be on South Carolina -2.5 on the alternate line. Now, this is not available yet on FanDuel, so I don't have the odds on it, but I could have checked DraftKings or something. But either way, it's probably around -136 to -144, somewhere in there. But yeah, we like South Carolina -2.5 here, getting the victory at home over Missouri. For parlays, definitely just run money line. Moving on to the 7 o'clock kickoffs, we got UAB laying 3.5 at Florida Atlantic. Over-under on that game is 46.5. Now to note on this one, the UAB quarterback is questionable. I had to go check and see why that line moved, because when I checked a few days ago, it was -5.5 for UAB, and I was going to be all over it. Moves to 3.5. It actually helps us in our favor. But with the quarterback being questionable, if he doesn't play, that could hurt us. But I don't think it affects the game a whole lot, because they run the ball very well there at UAB. They have the number 6 rush offense in the country, actually, and that's going against Florida Atlantic's number 96 ranked rushing defense. So even if the quarterback ends up not playing, I still like UAB a lot here. So 3.5, we're going to be on that. Didn't even need to buy the point, and I didn't want to, because -3.5 is -114. So anytime you see that, the -2.5 is probably like 160. So yeah, we'll just lay the 3.5 of the UAB here at Florida Atlantic. Definitely think they run the ball very effectively in this game and get the victory. And here's a big matchup in the SEC at 7 o'clock. Top 25 matchup, number 19 Kentucky getting 11.5 at number 3 Tennessee. Over-under on this game has moved down a couple of points. Was 63.5, now it is 61.5. So maybe, some people are thinking Kentucky's defense might step it up a little, but I just don't see it happening, man. We're talking about Tennessee, who scored 52 on Alabama. I just don't see Kentucky being able to slow this offense down. Hendon Hooker has been going wild this year. I think he probably has another big game. Probably throws for at least 350 yards, I would say. And his main target has been Jalen Hyatt on the deep balls this year. And if you haven't seen his stat line the last few games, go check it out, man. I mean, this guy will catch like 6 balls, have 150 yards, and 6 of those catches, 4 of them are touchdowns. Sometimes 5. Like, the dude's ridiculous. So, getting a little creative on the straight pick for this game. This is something I usually don't do in college, more of a NFL type play for me. But we're going to do a little 2-leg same game parlay. We call it just one straight pick, though. I like to call it like a player prop double or something like that. Either way, what we're going to do here is we're going to go Jalen Hyatt, 70-plus receiving yards, which is like -180 or -170, somewhere in there. And we're going to parlay that with the Tennessee money line. I definitely think they win by at least a touchdown here. So if you want to go like -6.5 or something, that's fine. But either way, with just the money line with the high 70-plus receiving, that gets you -127. So I like the value there, man. Definitely think he hits that 70 yards easily. And I think Tennessee wins the game easily, man. Especially at home, man. They're not going to slip up here. They're going to just keep on going, man. Got a big matchup coming up, man. So some people think they might be looking ahead, but I think they're smarter than that. It's not like they're playing some bum school. They're playing Kentucky. That's another solid program. Like, you got to focus up for that. So I like Jalen Hyatt, 70-plus receiving yards in Tennessee money line at -127 in that one. Not going to go over any stats in that game. You already know the deal. Tennessee's pass offense is like number 1 or 2 in the country, number 1 in scoring, all that good stuff. They even run the ball pretty well, though. Their ranking isn't great there, but that's just because they get so many yards through the air, they don't even have time to run the ball. But yeah, moving on, 7:30, another SEC matchup. We got number 15 Ole Miss laying 1.5 at Texas A&M. Over under is 54.5. And our straight pick on this one is going to be Ole Miss money line at -126. So good value there on the money line. Definitely don't be a fool laying the -1.5 there in case they win by 1. But the main thing for me here in this one, Ole Miss, number 3 in the country in rushing, 252 yards a game. That's ridiculous. Where Texas A&M, you might know them for a good defense, right? Well, it's mostly against the pass this year, because their rush defense is 101st in the country, allowing 180 yards a game. So definitely think Ole Miss is able to move the ball on the ground effectively in this one. They probably won't be able to throw it at all. To A&M, 12th in the country defensively against the pass, only allowing 175 pass yards a game. Ole Miss, 238 passing yards a game offensively. But, overall, Ole Miss has 490 yards a game offensively. That's very good number there, 12th in the country. A&M's defense allows 354 a game. That's 43rd in the country, so not terrible, but not great. Pretty solid, but mainly that run game. That offense for Ole Miss is going to be able to attack downhill on A&M and, control the game, control the clock. And, hopefully they end the possessions in touchdowns and not field goals, so that way we can get this win comfortably. On the other side, Ole Miss's defense is not great by any means, but not terrible. They are pretty bad against the run, but Texas A&M's offense is just terrible in all these categories. 107th in total yards offensively, 88th with passing offense, 105th with rush offense, 109th in points scored. Where Ole Miss, they are 41st against the pass, so pretty solid there. And 27th in points allowed a game, so only allowing 20 a game, where A&M scores right around 21. So definitely think Ole Miss will be able to score into the 20s, and A&M would not be surprised if they only get to like 17 here in this one. So yeah, we definitely like Ole Miss. Money line, -126 over A&M. And also for the total on that game, we will consider the 54.5 under. Probably buy it up to around 59, at least 59, maybe 60, 61. But yeah, the official straight pick on that one will be that Ole Miss money line, -126. And another 7:30 kickoff. We got my Michigan Wolverines hosting Michigan State in a night game. Michigan State is getting 22.5 on the road here. Over-under on this game is 54.5. Now, I definitely think my Michigan Wolverines win this ball game for sure. But the straight pick that I'm going to be on is going to be the under of 54.5. Now, I think we win easily. Now, Michigan could win this game by 10 points and win the game easily. This is the type of game where we're going to try to pound that rock and just run it and just control the clock and just barely give Michigan State any possessions. And, I think we definitely will probably win by a couple scores. I don't know if we cover that 22.5. It'd be close. That's tough. I definitely think we win by at least 2 scores, but maybe 3. But my straight pick on this is the under 54.5, man. It's just, Michigan State's going to be playing this game like it's their Super Bowl, man. I've seen it too many times. These games usually end up being close. Rarely ever ends up being a blowout. So, yeah, I'm just going to be on the under 54.5 there for Michigan State at Michigan. Baylor is getting 2.5 at Texas Tech, and a nice little Big 12 matchup there. Over-under on that game is 63.5. We're going to be on Texas Tech money line at -132. That is pretty solid value there. Texas Tech offensively, 3rd in the country in passing yards with 363 a game, where Baylor's defense is 80th in the country, allowing 233 a game. So I definitely think Texas Tech will be able to throw the ball effectively here at home. They are 9th in the country with 500 yards a game total. And, the rush offense isn't that good, but it's because they don't have to run it. They just throw it so effectively. They get all those yards and score quick. Baylor good against the run defensively, but just not so good against the pass. So, I definitely think Texas Tech will be able to score. They average 36 points a game. That's 26th in the country, going against Baylor, 57th in the country, allowing 24 a game. So I think Texas Tech will definitely get to, at least that 31 mark for us. And I don't see Baylor getting up there. I don't think they'll be able to keep up. Their offense is pretty solid, especially running the ball. But Texas Tech, their defense not great, pretty average around the board here. So it is a tough one, but these matchups, the last few years, the home team wins, and they've all been close games. The home team have won the last 3, so we'll try to continue that trend as we take Texas Tech on the money line at -132 over Baylor. And then the last pick of the night is going to be an 8 o'clock kickoff in the ACC. This is a pretty important one for that division there. You got Pitt getting 3.5 points at number 21 North Carolina. Well, it's actually a flat 3 now. But our straight pick on this one is going to be North Carolina money line -146. So decent enough value there for us to lay that money line there with North Carolina. Don't have to worry about any points. I definitely think that they win this matchup. Their offense is just too good, man. I know their defense is absolutely terrible, but I just don't think that Pitt will be able to keep up, man. They have struggled in some games that I did not expect them to struggle in this year. And, playing at North Carolina, they know that this is probably for that division in the ACC and a chance to play probably Clemson for that ACC title game. So, yeah, North Carolina, I expect them to show up and throw that ball a lot. Drake May has been a beast this year, so I think they'll be able to score plenty of points. And, yeah, I think North Carolina, man, gets the job done at home. We're on North Carolina money line -146, and that is our last straight pick of the day. So I will go through some teaser considerations real quick as well. So I'll go through our teaser considerations real quick, and then I'll recap all of our straight picks for the week. And also, the only underdog money line sprinkle that I really have this week was that Old Dominion +146 at Georgia State. That's really the only one that I have to give out. So I usually only really do like a segment on those if I have at least 4 or 5 of them. There's a few other underdogs that I like, but the line is just so short that it just didn't sound right as a sprinkle. Like Oklahoma State +106, that's an underdog money line, but +106, you can't really sprinkle that. It's basically even. But yeah, I like them as underdogs to win. Who else was it? I think there was one more at least. I actually throw this one out there. UConn +230. How about that? UConn +230 at home over Boston College. Both these teams have stunk this year. Actually, UConn, if anything, has looked better this year than they usually do. I think they got 3 wins where Boston College only has 2. And, UConn at home, man, we'll just take them +230 on the money line, underdog money line sprinkle there. Yeah, that's it. Just those couple possible sprinkles for underdog money lines there. Not a whole lot of underdogs I like this week. I do like a lot of them to cover, but yeah, just a couple sprinkles there. But as far as our teaser considerations before we recap our straight picks, the teaser considerations, Ohio State -14.5 at Penn State. Definitely think that Ohio State wins the game. Just wouldn't lay 14.5 with them. Probably take them down to like -7. Cut the spread in half at like -7 or maybe even -9. Toledo and Eastern, I like over 54.5. Just get that down to like 47 or 48. Definitely go over there, Toledo and Eastern. South Alabama -9.5 at Arkansas State. Definitely think they win that. Either just go double result or probably like -2.5. Coastal Carolina is getting 2.5 at Marshall. I'll buy them up to 7.5 at least, possibly even 10. I think they could win that game. It just feels kind of weird that I just don't know why they're even underdogs in this one. The line just kind of scares me. That's why I'm only considering it for teasers. USC and Arizona under 76.5. That total is just ridiculously high, man. I don't see it being that high. I know it definitely could get up there, and I wouldn't be surprised if it does, but hey, we're just considering for teasers, man. That means take that 76.5 up to like 81. We'll go under 81.5 there, USC, Arizona. And then Ole Miss and Texas A&M under 54.5 we like for teasers as well. We'll buy that up to probably 59.5, go under. And then San Diego State getting 8.5 at Fresno State. Definitely like that for teasers as well. We'll get I like that line in general, but just wasn't confident enough to take it as a straight pick. So teaser consideration only there. San Diego State plus 8.5. Get that up to probably plus 14.5. Might as well get the 2 touchdowns there. And then the last teaser consideration would be UCLA minus 16.5 for Stanford. Definitely like them to bounce back after a tough loss to Oregon last week. They come back home, host Stanford, who has not been good this year. I know they got that weird upset win at Notre Dame, but hey, Notre Dame stinks too, so maybe not as much of a surprise as it should have been. UCLA, man, Stanford's got a couple of injuries as well. I don't know if I already said that or not, but UCLA minus 16.5, get that down to probably minus 9, maybe even take them double result. Should be around like minus 260 to 280 for parlays. But yeah, that's our teaser considerations. We'll go ahead and recap all of our straight picks real quick. We'll run through them and wrap things up. So, for Week 9 in college football, we've got Toledo minus 6.5, Arkansas minus 2.5 alternate line, TCU minus 6.5 alternate line, Oklahoma money line, Syracuse money line, Notre Dame and Syracuse under the 47.5, Old Dominion plus 3.5, Tulsa plus 2.5, Oklahoma State plus 1.5, Wake Forest minus 3.5, Northwestern and Iowa under 37.5, Illinois minus 6.5 on the alternate line, South Carolina minus 2.5 alternate line, UAB minus 3.5. We got Jalen Hyatt 70+ receiving yards and Tennessee money line on the player prop double there. Ole Miss money line minus 126. Michigan State and Michigan under the 54.5. Texas Tech money line and North Carolina money line. So yeah, that's a lot of them, man. We always have lots of volume, man. We shoot. We're a shooter, man. I'm going to go for a lot of picks. If I like a lot, then that's just how it is, man. So, yeah, that's going to wrap it up, man. Go ahead and, tail a few of them. Let me know what you do with them. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Zone In Sports. As Saturday mornings, I always post our parlays, how we formulate all these picks together in different teaser-type parlays and, maybe some round robins and stuff like that. But, yeah, like I said, follow us on Twitter at Zone In Sports to see all of our parlays, and we post updates throughout the day on how the games are going, which ones we're watching and stuff like that. Always, down to conversate over there about these sports, man. I love to talk sports all the time, man. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it a lot. Leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Hit that notification bell as well so you never miss a new video. That's gonna do it. Let's make some money this weekend. Peace.